Hey everyone, how's it going today? And welcome back to another third stimulus. Now, actually in today's video, fourth stimulus check unemployment benefits extension update, because there has actually officially just been a new bill that was recently just introduced yesterday, actually, at least certainly from release date, and it probably will be discussed and negotiated over the next couple of days. But the idea is that there is a new bill that recently just came out that's actually focused on potentially extending the unemployment now, as in doing a fourth extension now. Now, this bill is a very, very interesting idea because it is a fourth extension that's supposed to take unemployment longer, but there's actually a lot of things inside of this bill that's actually a lot more, I guess you can say, a lot more new. And the idea is that they're really trying to potentially create a system that's going to reform unemployment. So the general idea is that they're trying to create something that's going to potentially impact the dollar amount. So it's not like the usual, simple straight to the point plus $300 plus $400 unemployment. It's basically a whole brand new unemployment reform, which we're going to talk about in today's update. Now, even though this idea is still a proposal, as the name suggests, is that it interestingly has now actually officially been documented now. So there's an actual verbal text right on the Senate's website, which I'll probably maybe put in the description or inside of maybe the comment section. So if you guys are interested in maybe reading it, it's very dense. So I think unless you guys maybe happen to really enjoy reading very dense legal material, or maybe you just want to basically just check it out for the kicks of it to see how dense it actually really is, then it's probably going to be there for you if you guys are interested. Now, if you guys by any chance are maybe looking for an actual program that has actually officially been approved, in the last two episodes, and I'll probably put it at the very end screen as well, so you guys can maybe watch it at the very end of this video if you guys are interested and haven't seen it. It talks basically about a potential $400 unemployment program that you guys can potentially get onto. You do have to apply for it. It is still very under the radar right now, so I don't think a lot of people are talking about it, but it can be a great thing because if you happen to be here, then you guys are one of the early birds that can potentially maybe get on it, because they're only doing it in certain states, but most states they are doing it. So check that out if you guys are interested. But today's video is all going to be about this brand new bill, so we're going to get started right away. But as always, before we begin, make sure you smash the like button. The fact we at least have lots of approvals and things that have been going on, maybe consider subscribing for similar videos like this. I'll put other videos at the end screen, and as always, feel free to comment any questions, thoughts about honestly just really anything at all. If you guys wanted to say hi, always great to see familiar and new faces. So with that being said, let's get this video started. So the new bill that was recently just introduced is called the Unemployment Insurance Modernization Act. Basically, it's a new bill that was just proposed yesterday by Senators Ron Wyden, he's the senator of Oregon, and Michael Bennet, who is the chair of the Finance Committee. And the idea is that it's pretty much there's a couple parts of this bill, but the first part about it is that it's hoping to expand the eligibility of unemployment so that it can potentially open it up to more people. The general idea is because there were a lot of people last year that were trying to get onto the unemployment programs, but maybe struggled to get on, or actually true answer, were just not able to fully get onto it. And so because of that reason, they're trying to open it up so it becomes a lot easier to get on it. So one of the examples, for instance, is that there were some people last year that maybe really just were technically employed but didn't feel comfortable working their jobs, so really just had to leave it, really because of safety reasons. So this new program would open up the eligibility, so now you guys can potentially stay on the unemployment program if the reason is simply because you just don't feel fully safe to go back to work. They technically already have this, which is what the PUA is for, because the PUA is for people that may not necessarily qualify for traditional unemployment, so they kind of have this, but they're pretty much going to be opening up even more. So you can even say this is almost like a PUA 2.0 kind of version. But the part that's really going to be interesting is really about the new calculation. So they're trying to create a new system that's going to potentially change up and make it so that the math to physically figure out how much you can get on unemployment is going to be a lot easier. And this applies specifically with the state unemployment. They're hoping to create a system to make it so that you'll be able to get at least 75% in your state unemployment of whatever you were making as your previous wage, plus an extra $25 per dependent, and this is per week. So all of this amount it's your state unemployment per week. They're hoping to increase the state unemployment cap in many states by, I believe, at least about 2/3. So the general idea is that there are many states, in fact most states, have a particular cap where they say that the most amount of unemployment you can receive in that state is, let's say, $300, $400. This bill would basically raise it even further. And probably the more interesting part is that they're also hoping to try to create a system now to create a base of $250 per week in state unemployment if you happen to be a gig worker. So the idea is that it would open up the eligibility to more people, and if you're able to get on it, you guys can potentially get now $250 per week. This is mainly for gig workers. So I think it's really important to really notify that, but that applies to a lot of people because there's a lot of gig workers out there. And then probably the last part about this unemployment program is that they're hoping to do a 4th extension. So the idea is now is that to potentially extend it now beyond the Labor Day that we currently have the extension for. However, this extension is going to be a lot more interesting because they're hoping to do this now based on a trigger system. So the general idea is that the unemployment now would be able to basically go on for as long as the unemployment rate in that particular state remains in a certain threshold. So the idea is that now, instead of ending at a specific date, it would basically just go on all the way until the unemployment rate falls below a certain level. Now, because this unemployment program is technically going to be going through some kind of trigger system, that's also the reason why we kind of always share the unemployment numbers every week, because it really shows, because a lot of times the unemployment claims that we see every single week, it impacts the likelihood of potential extensions going into the future. And actually, interestingly, this morning from when this video is made, is that the recent unemployment numbers actually recently did just come out, and I believe that they found that specifically about 576,000 people filed for traditional unemployment last week. So it's a massive drop. If you guys have been following the unemployment numbers, maybe subscribe if you guys haven't done so already, because we will probably be making other updates about that. But maybe for reference, the week before that, I believe about 769,000 people filed for traditional unemployment. So we actually had a massive drop. In fact, I think that last week, we actually had a record low for the first time, where we actually had under 600,000 people filed for traditional employment. I don't think we've had this number since the lockdown. So we're actually making strides to actually now, I guess you can say, decrease the unemployment rate. While this is true, there is also a lot of say right now is that there's also been a lot of jobs that have been created, but there's actually been more jobs that have actually been lost than jobs that have been created. So the general idea is that if you have, let's say, 15 million people that are unemployed, but you only have 12 million jobs out there, then it means that by logic, there just isn't physically enough jobs to go around. Now, I also do think it's important to note, and I know because there's some people that have talked about how, they see plenty of jobs going around, is that while that is very, very much true, I think it's also important to notice is that those numbers also kind of vary based on industry. So there's a little bit of a discrepancy because, for example, like if you are in the tech industry, then there probably are plenty of jobs to go around. But on another note, if you happen to be working in the hospitality industry, there's a lot of jobs that have been lost. And so a lot of people, it's not always, it's possible, but it's not always easy to kind of just jump to another industry, especially if you've already been further in the path of the industry that you're currently on. So that is something to really note. But Biden is still working on his 4th stimulus infrastructure plan, and I believe that that plan is going to potentially create more jobs. So depending on how the unemployment and the job market looks like in the coming months, that's really probably going to impact the likelihood that we're going to see this potential extension. But beyond that, that's pretty much what I really just wanted to share in today's update. So hopefully you guys found that insightful. Maybe smash the like button if you guys did. Consider subscribing and hitting the bell for just similar videos like this. I'll also put other videos that hopefully offer some more insight, including the program that was recently just approved or that recently is now starting up. And as always, feel free to comment any questions, thoughts about honestly just really anything at all. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay well, and hope to see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much again.